So we open up with some lovely shots of the park, emphasising that spring is in the air. And you know what else is? More opportunities for jokes, not the least of which being that because it's spring it means that it's now the mating season, or in other words, animals getting their funk on. Speaking of which, we cut to the birds continuing to help provide food for the other animals, primarily since that now many of them are carrying young, so they need a little extra help. Basically, it's a home delivery service for pregnant animals. However, Fox feels that he needs to cool off the food raid since the other animals can now fend for themselves and they don't need the extra food. However, Speedy, being the delightful soul that she is, thinks it would be best to not tell Owl.
I suppose we should tell Owl. I wouldn't. What? I wouldn't bother telling her. Let her find out for herself. Isn't that rather mean? Sever right. She's mean and self-righteous and pompous.
All of those words sum up you too, along with obnoxious, self-absorbed and bitchy.
Just for a joke.
It would be, rather fun, huh?
Shame on you, Whistler. You've gone from John Pertwee to Christopher Eccleston. What would Vixen say about that? Especially now that she's pregnant. Oh, sorry, have I not mentioned that yet? Have I overlooked it since the last time? Well, that's only because the show has as well. They've not really mentioned the fact that she's pregnant yet at all, and this will become even more daunting later in the episode, as you'll see. So the animals don't tell Owl to stop the food raid, so she carries on doing them, and Mrs. Rabbit bears her new kittens. Let's hope she can keep these ones alive this time. Badger then informs Owl of the thing that the arseholes neglected to mention to her earlier.
I say, Owl, why'd you keep on bringing all this, food? Very kind of you, I'm sure, but,
Orders are orders, Badger.
See, I told you it was a delivery service, and she's got orders to keep and can't be late, otherwise she'll have to give them away for free. Wait a second. Bird-based character has ironic joke played on them by people who look down on them and results in a terrible misunderstanding. This is the plot to the Batman animated series episode Birds of a Feather. What's next? Is Owl gonna capture Whistler and Speedy with knockout gas and then tie them to a giant owl-shaped bomb?
But Fox cancelled the air raids ages ago.
What?
Didn't you know?
No, Badger. I didn't know. No one told me, you see.
Oh dear.
It seems I'm the only one who still keeps the oath.
Oh no, that isn't true.
Well, perhaps you, Badger, but no one else.
So this is where we actually get into an interesting part with Owl's development, in where she feels unappreciated by the others and feels that she's been made a fool of. And I have to admit, it's actually a pretty well done idea. With Owl, she's always been a bit of a loner compared to the other animals, and has always been a very proud and somewhat pompous character. So to be made such a fool of would probably leave her feeling a bit depressed quite easily. And it's really an interesting area to take this character, since this allows us to see more sides of her and have her go through more stages of emotion than before. Even if that change in mood does seem a bit drastic given her natural feeling, and she's often insulted by other animals anyway, though she probably just felt of those being beneath her, whereas here she's been straight up humiliated, and it actually aids to her being a little bit more humbled in the future. Which will then lead into one of the better parts of the next series. So in feeling such a way, Owl flies off to leave White Deer Park, but not before seeing a bad omen.
I suppose I should tell Fox, but I simply cannot face him. Not after such a humiliation.
Yeah, I mean, never mind the fact that many animals are probably going to die without knowing. No. It's your pride that's important here, Owl. So the hunters are back, and they are pissed. And they're not in any kind of wait to get themselves some fresh new pelts. Oi, Barley, where do you think that fox is at, like? I don't know, Sire. Let's just go and find the fucker.
What did I do? What did I do?
You neglected to tell anybody very important news, and now you've gotten someone killed for it. Well done, Owl! In all fairness though, the killing of one of Scarface's kids is handled quite well. The shot was off screen, and while the image of the corpse is a bit disturbing, there was nothing particularly gory about it, and Owl's reaction does at least show that she does care enough for the people around her to not want to see them die. Not enough to warn them though, but hey, survival of the fittest and all that. But when you kill a cub, you can bet your ass that the parents are not too far behind.
That red fox is the cause of this.
So, Fox in Scarface's mind can grow opposable thumbs and pick up a gun? Because that sounds fucking awesome! Fox hunting wouldn't be as fun for the toffs if the gun was on the other side, now would it? Although it just happens to be unfortunate enough that Weasel is close by and then fall right into his line of sight.
Trying to hide from me, are you, Weasel?
I told him I'd tell her! You fuck with me! You fucking with him back!
Oh, good heavens, no! I was practicing my tree climbing.
Oh, very good. And as a reward, you can do something else for me, Weasel.
I knew it.
You can take that farthing wood fox of yours a message. You can tell him from me that I'll pay him back for the death of my son.
You're dead, motherfucker!
Sure as my name's Scarface.
So we cut back to Fox, Vixen and Badger, who are suddenly met by Gorsebush.
I've got a message for Fox.
A message? Who from?
Scarface, actually.
Oh, yeah. And what have you got to do with Scarface?
He happened to see me in the wood and he told me to tell you something.
And what was that?
He said to tell you, from him, he blames you for the death of his son and he's going to get you for it. Got it? That's all.
Oh, now don't go shooting the messenger now, Fox. She can't help it if a psycho canine decide to make her a servant.
It's not like you to be so hard-hearted.
I'm sorry. It's just I'm worried. It is my fault, you see. The poachers were after me. What I don't understand is why on earth they shot a blue fox.
Maybe they're colourblind. Or maybe they just thought you were trying on a new wardrobe.
In the dusk, all foxes look the same, red or blue.
Oh, I see. Then I've really done it, haven't I?
Done what?
I've brought the wrath of the poachers down on all our heads. They'll shoot every fox in the park just to be sure of getting me.
Oh, that's rubbish. Do you honestly think that they're after you and only you, Fox? If they can't tell the difference between a blue fox and a red fox, how the hell are they going to figure out the difference between a red fox and another red fox? It just doesn't work with your logic. Hell, why do you think that they think that you're the fox that tricked them? It's impossible to try and tell one fox from another unless they've got something mark on them. It'd be like trying to find one rat in New York that stole your bread amongst the sewers of millions of other rats. It wouldn't be possible for a human to do. Hell, it'd be probably too impossible for some other foxes to do.
Where are you going?
I'll wait by the boundary. They can't miss me there.
No, Fox. They won't stop at you, don't you see?
Exactly. Listen to your wife there, Fox. She's got her head in the right place right now. Whereas yours is around about the area where something comes out of your body.
Well, you know why, Vic? Because you got your head up your culo.
And I need you.
Okay, we're getting a little bit too intimate here, guys. You've already got cubs on the way. We don't need to turn this into Weasel Does White Deer Park or anything like that. Although, speaking of which, if you have got cubs on the way, then that means that you've, well, done some spelunking already. And if that is the case, did you have anybody around you when you were doing it? Dear God, I hope not. Have you ever heard what a fox sounds like when they're having sex? Meanwhile, Al's character development has gone drastically in the other direction, in that she's now feeling guilty about the fact that she thinks Fox is dead because of her negligence, which is another good area to see her character in that she admits how she thought she was wrong about something and is breaking down because of it. It's just a bit drastic to see it happen this quickly is all.
I've just had a word with the hare female. She saw it all. It was the poachers, all right, and she told me they'd got a fox. Shot dead, right between the eyes he was, didn't stand a chance. Mind you, he can't have suffered much. Died at once, apparently.
Okay there, Speedy, don't go sparing any of the details, will you? But of course, Owl unfortunately hears all of this and naturally ends up getting the wrong end of the stick. Maybe Badger needs to get all the animals on Facebook. At least then we'd have a better sense of communication amongst all of them. Meanwhile, the Great White Stag of White Deer Park ends up hearing about this and goes over to their equivalent of the Stonehenge, whilst coming across an unseen visitor.
Aren't you the Farthing wood weasel, Fox's friend?
Me? No, no! Nothing to do with me!
Weasel's appearance had made up my mind.
Wait, what? Wait, how did that minuscule exchange exactly give you some sort of epiphany? Or is it just on some sort of minor decision you just made?
I wonder if I'll have chips for tea tonight.
You helped us, we must now help you.
But how?
Have you ever seen a herd of deer in full charge? It is a fearsome sight.
Yeah, it looks like this. Scary, no?
But the deer would be risking their lives.
None can stand in our path, not even the poachers.
They still have guns, don't forget. Some of you will still end up getting shot. Unless you're thinking about breaking out the deer riot shields and truncheons. I joke, of course, this is actually a pretty good plan, even if it is slightly suicidal. But you know what they say, you either go hard or you go home. In a body bag. So Fox agrees to the stag's idea and has his sentries of the train set up around the park to aid the plan. We then cut over to Scarface and Lady Blue, who have sporadically had their cubs. Where the hell did they come from? We didn't have any mention of Lady Blue being pregnant in the earlier episodes. Or is Scarface really that good at it?
Anything beats lying around all day waiting for me to fuck you, I'll tell you that.
Don't toot your horn, honey, you're not that good.
Regardless, one of these cubs will go a long way to being a major part of the development of this story. But we'll get to that later in the series. But that also does mean that there were two groups of mating foxes in White Deer Park around this time. Jesus Christ, the din must have been unbearable. It would have been the equivalent of being at a Cradle of Filth concert.
Aren't they just gorgeous?
Or better than anything that other lot could produce.
Jawohl, Führer Scarface!
Look, this one's got my nose.
Well, there goes Scarface's credibility as a villain. Unless you don't count this bit from last week. Actually, it is nice to see Scarface go through some more levels than just pissed off, showing that he's a little bit more of a character than just a generic thuggish bad guy. It's actually rather sweet, really.
Always ranging, that one.
Ooh, a ranger, eh? He'll be a great help to his dad against that red fox, eh? Won't you, Ranger?
Can't you forget him just for a minute?
You and me. We'll sort him out, won't we, eh?
If the poachers don't get us first.
So we then cut over to, oh dear God, I've never seen depression like that animated before. Well, except in a Ralph Bakshi movie.
Who's that?
It's your old friend Kestrel. Oh, Owl, what's wrong?
It's all my fault.
What is?
That fox was killed!
Fox? But he wasn't killed. A blue fox was killed by the poachers, but not our fox.
And I was so upset about, you know, you and Whistler not telling me the air raids had been stopped. And I thought they'd shot Fox, and it was all my fault.
Oh, Owl, please forgive me. Everything's all right now.
Resolution, the thing that's made so much easier in this show than in real life. Seriously, after all that, that's how the arc of Owl's character development of guilt ends? A bit anticlimactic, wasn't it? But at least it was more character development given to her than Kestrel. But we then move over to Oh! Turn it off! Turn it off! The cuteness is too much! It's burning my eyes! Yes, Fox and Vixen have managed to give birth to their cubs as well. Though I do wonder how long it's been since the last scene, since Vixen didn't look pregnant at all. Though in fairness, neither have any of the other animals who have given birth in this episode. And they have fun playing with their young in the sun with their friends. Oh, and you know how I was talking about in the last few episodes about names being more personalities than species? Well, say hello to Bold, Friendly, Charmer, and Dreamer. Oh, where to even begin? Well, to be fair, Bold and Dreamer are not as bad as names could go in this context, but Friendly and Charmer? Really? That's the best names you could have given them? In the Farthingwood universe, when all's about predestined roles in life and how animals are obsessed with making sure they're young to grow up to have a certain personality, that's the best ones you could have come up with? though that'll become obsolete anyway since Friendly hardly lives up to his namesake, but we'll get along to that later in the series. Though, much like Scarface is young, these characters will have some of the most important elements as the series progresses. Though let us continue to be blinded by cuteness yet again. Oh, and a quick bit to mention.
Least said, Al.
Soonest mended. Yes.
So sorry. We didn't mean any harm.
We all value you highly, Owl.
There we go. Wiped our hands of that bit. Now what's for supper?
Well, I must say, it's nice to see everybody gathered together again.
Not quite everybody, Fox. Mole's missing.
And Weasel, what's she up to?
No good, if you ask me. Once a weasel, always a weasel.
Which means what exactly? I don't think we've really established a reputation for Weasel's species in this series yet. And if you're talking about Weasel herself, she may be a bit snarky, but when's she ever been involved in anything?
Take that! I'm still thirsty. Where are you going? I like it.
Oh. Right. Yeah. Never mind.
Never mind, Weasel. What about Mole?
Mole missing. I wonder what that means. Hell, even some of the other characters have caught on by this point.
Poor Badger. Who's going to break the news to him?
Mole may not be dead, but it's beginning to look very like it.
Nah, they wouldn't do that. We haven't even had a proper send-off for him. I mean, they wouldn't just go kill a character off screen, now would they? So Badger goes off to find Mole, and Weasel promptly decides to be a dick to him.
Ah, is that you, Moley, old friend? Hello! Ow! You little weasel, you!
Seriously, Weasel, you don't treat a guy when he's down like that. How would you like it if... Actually, I don't need to finish that sentence. You will experience it next series and on a much bigger scale.
Nobody cares. Nobody at all. My little friend. Dear old Moley. Will I ever see you again?
Oh man, things are getting a bit heavy around here. We need something to help lift our spirits. I said we needed to lift our spirits here, and when I said that, I did not mean to make us so depressed that we'll lift up bottles of vodka to our mouths. And what with that reaction shot there, Weasel and Blue? Are we in a Looney Tunes cartoon now? So yes, the hunters are back now, and the Stag and Fox's plan is put into action.
They're here, all right.
It's up to us now. Keep out of sight, Fox.
Good luck.
Okay, is he giving a signal or is he yawning? Or imitating a duck? But the stag's quack does manage to draw the hunter's attention, and then... Stampede! Indeed they did. We won't be seeing them anytime soon. Oh, come on! Seriously? Yes, the hunters are back. Though to be fair, a humiliation in Stampede would probably entice you to keep hunting. But you know who else are back? The Warden and Ray. So clearly the hunters are heading up a certain creek without a certain instrument right now.
The Warden's back!
Then surely now we should be safe.
Stop with the cuteness! But yes, the hunters start up again, and with no plan, the train is completely defenceless. But you know what they say, all's fair in love and war, as Weasley's about to find out.
Weasley! At last I've found you!
Oh! Get away from me!
Are you all right?
I've been fine all this time because I've kept clear of you.
But it wasn't my fault you were shot at!
Whenever I see you, something terrible happens. You're bad news, Weasel.
They're shooting anything that moves.
The Warden could stop them.
He doesn't even know about the poachers, so he's hardly going to be out looking for them, is he?
Fox?
Never mind me, my dear, I've got to be awesome for a bit. However, Fox goes out to engage his original plan, as well as Scooby-Doo's plan. Use yourself as live bait and lure the monster to the trap. Or in this case, well, you'll see. But of course we have ourselves yet another chase scene, and the chance to bring back an old favourite. Hit it, Meatloaf! However, Fox and the Hunter's noise have attracted the Warden's attention, as well as the other animals, who go and stand by their leader. Or in this case, more like go and watch him die. Great show this, isn't it, Vixen? My husband is going to die! Well, you know what they say, you win some, you lose some. You're a complete arsehole, Badger. Why'd you think I never found a mate? So Fox manages to lead the Hunters away to the Warden's cottage, and then this legendary moment.
Hands on your heads. Well, I'll be blowed.
That was awesome! Seriously, with the way Fox manages to trick the Hunters like that, like Joseph Joestar, and the fact, of course, the presentation of the animals with this amazing image, it may be one of the most epic moments within the show's history, if not the most epic. Though it is a little bit ruined by when you come back to reality, you realise that the Hunters outnumbered the Warden 2-1, and of course with the animals all coming up behind Fox, despite the fact they didn't actually do anything in this scene, but the image is still awesome nonetheless. In short, this was a nice and interesting episode, though it starts to allow the series' most critical flaws start to set in. Its lack of focus and build-up. Lots of things are often mentioned once, but then their resolution happens almost instantly. We saw that with Kestrel earlier in this series, and it happened with Owl in this one. And Vixen and Lady Blue's pregnancy is mentioned, and then suddenly, boom, they give birth. And granted, they don't bear children for as long as humans, but they would at least show that they're pregnant with their cubs, especially multiple cubs, and this becomes a problem until the show's end, unfortunately, but we'll discuss that in a more later in the series, and also the next one. However, what has made the early parts of this series good are still here. Scarface, the hunters, the animals planning to save their hides, and Fox being awesome as always. It does make this episode a good one to watch, though besides the climax, not that much sticks out about it. Next episode, however, will be taking things in a drastically different direction, to the point where if you'll wonder if the laws of time actually work the same way in this world as they do in ours. But we'll see about that when we get there.
And now for something completely different.
Sound more like Sam Elliott than I do Morgan Freeman. The dude abides. I'm talking about the dude here. Now I sound like Lee Van Cleef. Don't touch that hat, partner.